Halls of 4 seasons lost. In Austin, I stalled, pause. My eyes crawl to a table. Paralyzed by pairwise dice, then attend to this heaven slice of an angel wrapped in skin. Throw dice and woes of life. Love deprived, looking to revive. What's the meaning of life? One subjective paradise. Crystal chandeliers, motives reflected. Often mirrors appear clear, grinning from ear to ear. Craving and raving and grain, rekindle the flame. Closer she draws near. Stay there, remove your underwear, shove it somewhere over there. In paradise, we know our purpose. In paradise, we know what our worth is. In paradise, we manifest dreams. In paradise.
Hello, in paradise. Oh, hey. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Unpopular Hour. This is our Women Only Wednesday broadcast. Every Wednesday we do Women Only Wednesday, which we try to have women only guests, and we have women ask questions then on a platform that they don't feel like those women who don't really know about sports necessarily, but can actually ask questions and not feel like they're idiots or whatever. And so anyway, that's what we're doing, and I'm your host, Matt Clark. And we're going to be joined by Maya Carter Long here sometime today. I've sent her a Zoom, so I'm just waiting on her to answer the thing and kick in. So, but anyway, today I have on my Oak Grove trucking hoodie because I was supposed to wear it last night since our boy, one of our sponsors, Jose Fierro's beloved Broncos, got Russell Wilson in a trade, sending 4 draft picks and Drew Lock and a bunch of players. But anyway, got a chance to get him in, so I wanted to wear my shirt to support my boy, even though they are in a division like we talked about with Patrick Mahomes, with Herbert, and with Carr. So that's going to be interesting to watch. But someone said, I was listening to someone today, I forget who it was this morning, they were talking about, people don't shy away from competition. The competition is a good thing. I agree with that. But if you're trying to get to the Super Bowl, it's a lot easier to get to the Super Bowl the week of your conference. Ask Tom Brady. The reason why he has a chance to go to the Super Bowl, the reason why he had so many uh, home field advantage is because they played in the East. He played against the Jets twice. He played against Buffalo twice when they sucked. He played against Miami twice when they were very good. So that gave him a chance to get 5 or 6 wins every year, which helped him anytime they had to play anybody tough. So getting out and not getting beat up and being able to beat up on teams and give your kids some confidence is not necessarily a bad thing. Now, the flip side argument can be made at the same time when you look at the SEC. How many times that a national champions come out of the SEC? Pretty much every year it's the SEC or if Clemson won in the ACC. So, yeah, you can make that argument. But to me, in the NFL, it's completely different than college, simply because trying to get out of a tough conference. Now, the Rams did get out of the NFC West, which arguably was the toughest for sure in the NFC. And them and the AFC are a toss-up, and they probably were a little bit tougher than the AFC to get out. But Matt Stafford did go there. The Rams did get through the conference, did get a chance to get in the Super Bowl. I mean, and they were playing at home. So, yeah, that is an argument to be made there, no question. But on the other side, who did Matt Stafford have to go through? Kyler. That's it. And Russell Wilson, but Russell Wilson didn't really have a team, really. So did he really have to go through Russell Wilson? Not really. But yeah, okay, I'm going to throw him in there since I got to throw in Derek Carr with the Raiders. So, yeah, okay, he had to go through Kyler, and he had to go through Derek Carr, and he had to go through Garoppolo. Okay, that's who they had. On the other side, now Russell comes to a conference that he has to go through, like I said, Carr, Mahomes, and Herbert. And first of all, he don't have a Mahomes on the other side. Now, I think there's a slight advantage if I had to choose between Russell Wilson and Mahomes. Clearly, I'm going to take Mahomes. Barely, but I'm going to take Mahomes. Because they're both baseball players. They're both ridiculously smart. They both know how to get down. They both don't take hits when they're out in the open field. Both of them throw a great deep ball. Both of them are read the defenses really well. Even though Russell is the only quarterback to have his first 9 straight or 10 straight seasons without having a losing season, which is just incredible when you think of all the NFL quarterbacks that have come out there. He is the only one that has never had a losing season in his first 10 seasons, and he's definitely not going to have one going to Denver because Denver's loaded. And now that Seattle has released Bobby Wagner too, which I mean, I get. Are they rebuilding? Are they reloading? Or are they restructuring? What exactly are they doing? Now, to me, I think pretty much that they are restructuring or rebuilding. They're not restructuring; they're rebuilding. I mean, because you have DK Metcalf at wide receiver, and he clearly is not going anywhere because they can franchise him, so he's not going anywhere. Then you have Tyler Lockett on the other side. So now, who are you going to get as a quarterback to replace Russell? Clearly, it ain't Drew Lock. Now, what's your other option? Deshaun, and I think we find out Friday, I believe, whether the grand jury will indict him, and then he's going to have to probably make some deals or whatever, which he was going to do last year to go to Miami. But once the Washington realized once Houston found out what he was doing, what did they do? We don't want that. We want more now because they realized Deshaun was going to settle those lawsuits, or the word was he was going to settle the lawsuits so that he could get out of Houston and go to Miami. And once Houston figured that out, they're like, no, we want more than that. Dude, I hate, I hate the control factor when it comes to that. If somebody doesn't want to be on your team, get rid of them. If you don't want somebody, you can get rid of them whenever you want. But when it's their turn to get rid of you, or they want to leave you, you're like, oh, no, why would you want to leave us? We're a great... No, you're a horrible run organization. You're terrible. You're a horribly run organization. And horribly run organizations do that. When you look at Detroit necessarily is not a great organization. And I was talking to my Uber driver about this. He's from Detroit. And he was worse on there. I was nice compared to what he was saying about the Detroit Lions management. But anyway, that being said, what was he saying? He was saying that, when you look at, what I was saying, when you look at Detroit, they let Matt Stafford out. He asked to be out because he was like, hey, can y'all please let me out? They let him out. That's what you should do out of respect for someone. If someone doesn't want to be there, get rid of him. Let him go. Now try to get the maximum out of you can, but once you realize that everybody doesn't want you, get rid of them. And you look at the same thing with Philly and Ben Simmons. They got James Harden because James wanted out of New Jersey. Somebody didn't want to be there, man. Kevin Durant was like, man, if you don't want to be with me, get out, bro. Get the hell out of here. Trade, do whatever. Get him out. Players don't want to play with someone who don't want to play with them. Ownership should not hold a thing over their head. This is not the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s and 80s and 90s where you were the supreme leader and you could do whatever you wanted. No, if somebody didn't want to be there, let them go. Why would you want to have somebody there who doesn't want to be here? You look at the Kevin Durant situation here. Oklahoma City was stuck. You can't trade Kevin Durant. You almost had to lose him. Couldn't trade him. I guess you could have. And there's no way you didn't know he was leaving. I didn't even play for the team. I wasn't even affiliated with the Thunder. I knew he was gone. Most of the people I was around knew he was gone. You can look at his body language. He didn't want to play Russell anymore. He was done. He was done with the fact that the Thunder took Russell over him. He was done. And when you look at Russell Wilson, he was done with Pete Carroll and him. Now, is it because Pete and the GM went to look at Josh Allen work out? I don't know why you'd be mad. Dude, you're 33. It's not like they're going to get rid of you. And what if they're grooming somebody else? You still are the number one quarterback. Are you afraid of losing your position? Clearly he's not because he went to the AFC West. So that's not it. So it's your ego? What was it? But that relationship was fragile. It was torn. It was done. So Russell's like, I'm out of here. And he moved on. Now the question is, like I said, what are they going to get? What are they going to do? And on the other side of that, the Broncos. Are they going to snatch up Bobby Wagner? I promise you, one of the best linebackers in the NFL. Somebody's going to snatch him up from Seattle. Is Von Miller going to go back to Denver again after he's won another chip, like we talked about yesterday? I wouldn't go back. I'm going to stay out in L.A. where it's warm. Now, Carson Wentz traded from the Colts today to the Washington Commanders. You go from the Redskins to the Washington football team to the Commanders. I just I don't have a lot for that. I'm just gonna let it go. Anyway, so let's discuss the trade. Carson Wentz was 27-7 touchdown to picks ratio last year. He was 4-1 touchdown to pass interception before that when he was in Philly. Now, does Carson do some stupid stuff? Yeah. Should he have beat the lowly Jacksonville Jaguars to get into the playoffs? Probably. But it did get done. And Jim Irsay was done. Because it's hard to get into playoffs in the West. I mean, in the AFC, it's hard. Very hard. But the Colts have had 5 quarterbacks in 5 years. 5 quarterbacks in 5 years. And the only ones I can name Phillip Rivers, what's his name, Brissett, Carson. Hell, I don't even know who the other two were. I mean, think about that. If you can't name quarterbacks off the top of your head, that's not very good. But they've had 5 in 5 years. And now they're going to have 6 in 6 years. So, I mean, what do you do with that? Well, like, once again, Carson, all these guys who didn't get vaccinated, hey, they're just getting rid of them left and right. You look at the Cowboys. Both of the guys who didn't get vaccinated, both of them are gone. Because to most in the NFL, more than any other sport, it's team first. Team first, you second. It's the team. What we're doing, we're first. We want to win. We can't afford the people being out. We can't afford the people, somebody not being able to play. We can't do that. That's part of it. So I look at the Washington Commanders, and they improved. Now they have probably the second best quarterback in the NFC East behind Dak. And it's funny is that he went Philly to Indianapolis, back to Washington, so he's back in the NFC East where he originally started. And I believe he has I don't know if he has I think he has a winning record against that. Well, maybe not against the Cowboys. But that defensive line he's got in Washington is just ridiculous. They've got some receivers. The running back's not bad. Their O-line is pretty good. So they were really a quarterback away from contending with Dallas, and now they're there. Now Dallas loses Amari Cooper and DeMarcus Lawrence, so they're going to be in trouble a little bit defensively. Now it depends on how well Randy Gregory steps up, and it does solve their Parsons deal because Parsons was a much better defensive end at rushing the quarterback than he was all over the place. So Micah Parsons, that's going to help him tremendously, or help the Cowboys. Now he'll be in one spot. So that's going to be interesting. The NFC East has probably gotten better. Now, is it still on the bottom? It's pretty low down at the bottom, but, they did get better. So that does help Carson at least because he's on a good football team, and he's gone from the Eagles, which were so-so, to the Colts, who had a really good football team, now to Washington, who has a really good football team. So he's happy. Russell Wilson is happy. Aaron Rodgers is happy because, he's got his $50 million a year contract, so he's happy. Or at least he should be. Even though he says, oh, well, nothing's been done yet. Nothing's been agreed to. Come on, man. Just say, hey, look, I'm glad to be a Packer again. I'm happy to be back in Green Bay. I'm gonna finish my career here. How about some of that? I said, oh, don't listen, I haven't done this, I haven't done that. The numbers are off. Bro, really, the numbers are off. We'll see how much they're off. What, by $1 million, $2 million, $5 million? Is there a lot of difference when you get $200 million between $1 to $5 million? Is there a lot of difference there, bro, at that point? I don't think so. So I don't really want to hear your mouth. Aaron Rodgers is wearing me out. He's gotten almost punch drunk on the fact that he's on the show every Tuesday and he can talk and spill whatever and talk about all this woke mob. Well, the woke mob obviously woke up and paid you. If they're the woke mob, they paid you. So did you win? Did you lose? Do you like them now? You don't like them? Whatever. So we'll see what happens with that. So that's my deal on Aaron Rodgers and that. And like I said, the Broncos is going to be real interesting. But where is he? Is he the second worst quarterback, third best quarterback, fourth best quarterback in the AFC West? Well, I think it's Mahomes, him, Herbert, Carr. Because Carr has never won a playoff game, so you can't really say him. And just Herbert has had a losing record in 2 years. But let's face it, he's going to get better. Then you look at that. Is he better than Josh Allen? Man, I I don't know. I still think it's Mahomes and Allen and probably Russell. Maybe by a frog's hair. Maybe not a lot of difference. I put it like this. I'm not going to be mad if I have either one. The only difference is that I give Josh Allen the advantage is A, he's bigger, and 2, he's younger. But nobody throws a deep ball like Russell. Russell is number 1 in the NFL over the last few years of throwing in tight windows of passes over 30 yards. So that's Russell. So, but those 3 of them, I think it's Mahomes, then probably Allen, then him. And I'm not going to discount Lamar, okay, because Lamar was hurt this year, and the Ravens are a beast when they have him. So I'm going to probably throw Lamar 4th, Joe Burrow 5th, then Herbert, then Carr, and then Baker. I'm going to put Baker on the list bottom in the AFC. If I had to list them, I think I'm gonna throw them in that order. If I had to list them, as far as quarterbacks. Now, let's get on to the NBA. There's some great games tonight. Suns versus the Heat. So we get possibly a look at a possible NBA Finals this year, since both of those teams are in the top 2, 3. Obviously, the Suns have the best record, but have a look possibly at a possible NBA Finals between the Sun and the Heat, the Suns and the Heat. So this is gonna be an interesting game. I'm gonna wish I'd be able to watch it, but of course it'll be a late game, so I don't know exactly how I'm gonna be able to really watch it because the Thunder and the T-Wolves on tonight, and I have to do my show after the storm, which is our post-game Thunder analysis, and I hope everybody got a chance to watch the After the Storm. If you haven't, you can go to my Facebook page, or you can go to mcsportsnetwork.com, and you can click on the link, and you can go to YouTube and watch it from there after the storm. So you could do it either way. It's relevant. Probably going to mcsportsnetwork.com, clicking on that, going to the link, and watching it on YouTube. And also, if you do go to YouTube, remember to subscribe and like it. So trying to get something in. And by the way, we have some interesting deals that we've got coming up, which I'll be discussing next week, especially since March Madness starts next week. So I'm interested to talk about that. And I'm looking forward to discussing some of the things we got to have coming up. We're going to have a couple raffles for some Thunder tickets is basically what we're going to do. So that's going to be exciting to talk about that and how you guys can win tickets to the Thunder game by through the raffle. So we're going to talk about that again next week. But back to the Suns and the Heat. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen here. Like I said, I'm very excited to watch it, just to kind of see how they match up, what they look like now, because this is late in the season. This is not early, where the games are kind of so-so. So this is late in the year, so it's going to be interesting to see exactly what happens here. Are the Suns going to blow them out through the three-point shooting, or are the Heat going to just be more physical with them and slow the game down and let Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler take over and be more physical and just score on them? So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with that. And then, like I said, Thunder T-Wolves, which, of course, I'm going to be watching and be broadcasting tonight after the game. And, of course, the T-Wolves, we don't match up with them, and we've talked about that, my broadcast. last week about when we played Milwaukee. We just don't match up with, I mean, not Milwaukee, but Minnesota. We don't match up well with them. They beat us by 30 twice. The only advantage is we are on the road. We're on a 3-game winning streak on the road. The Thunder. So that's gonna be. I mean, I think it's gonna be a closer game. I don't know if they're gonna beat us 30, but we just don't match up with them, and we talk about it all day long. I've talked about it many times. Matchups is everything in professional sports and college sports and high school sports. There's certain teams that you match up with. There's certain teams you don't. It just doesn't. It just your personnel, the way your style of play, everything. Sometimes you match up really well, and those are the best. Those are the best games when you guys are matched equally, and then it's just a matter of who wants it more. And sometimes you lose those games, even though it's not to say that you didn't want it. They just wanted a little bit more than you that day. Just like when you beat them, you wanted a little bit more than they did that day. It's just this is just the way it is. There's no way you're gonna want something more than someone every single time. That's just hard to do. And very few people have really achieved that. But sometimes, you're just gonna have a bad game. It's just not there. And everybody has a Michael, Kobe, Kareem, LeBron, Dr. J, Larry Bird, Bill Russell, Will Chamberlain, Kareem. Doesn't matter who you are. You've had those games where it just wasn't there. You just had those days it just wasn't there. In fact, I watched the Magic Bird documentary the other day, and Larry Bird in the championship game. He talked about that. Just wasn't there. So anyway, the Thunder, the T-Wolves, I hope we can just be there. I hope we can do what we got to do. Sad to hear that Lou Dortz is going to miss the remainder of the season with his labrum surgery. So we'll talk about that more tonight on the show for him being out. But that's going to hurt us a little bit. But on the other side, it does give us a chance to get some good look at more better looks at some of the players. And like last night, we shot 50%, 16 for 37 from 3, and got beat 25 or 27. Crazy. But that just goes to show you how good Milwaukee was, and they've got that beast. And Giannis is just, there's just no answer for Giannis. And we're one of 29 teams that don't have an answer. So it ain't just like it's just us. It's just nobody does. So, and then the last game of interesting is the Hawks versus the Bucks. Because the Hawks got scores out the wazoo. This is nice. This is going to be another playoff matchup between these two teams. So this is going to be interesting to see because these two teams are probably going to play each other in the playoffs. And that's Trae Young versus Giannis in that group. And, I saw this thing where Bradley Beal wanted to go to the Sixers maybe in the offseason. So it'd be Harden, Beal, and Embiid. That would be the nastiest triple head monster in the league, no question. And they were talking about how Milwaukee has a triple head. Where? Where's their triple head at? Where? Who? Who? You got Giannis. Middleton is not a monster. He's inconsistent in the playoffs. How is he a monster? Drew, how is he a monster? You got one monster. Philly will have 3. Now, you can discount Bradley, but if you watch Bradley Beal enough, you know he can play. So I don't agree with that take right there. Those 3 would be that would be unstoppable. And then you look at the Hawks. They've got Trae in that group. Boy, Trae's got them rolling. They're young, but man, they can shoot the ball. They're talented. They can be better on the defensive end, which is, like I said, one of the things that's going to hamper them because in the playoffs, the NBA has 2 seasons. There's a regular season, there's the playoffs. 2 totally different seasons. They match up differently with each other. So it's 2 totally different things. In the regular season, you can run up and down the court, it's fast-paced, it's whatever. In the playoffs, you have 6 to 10 less possessions a game. So you have to be more careful with the basketball. You can't come down like we do sometimes and shoot within 13, 14 seconds on the shot clock. Can't do that. Everything has to be within 6 to 8 seconds left on the shot clock to make sure you got the maximum, the best shot that you possibly can get. That's playoff basketball. It's a lot more physical. Referees aren't going to call little ticky-tack fouls, which James Harden find out. That's what hurts him in the playoffs because he's not getting all those little ticky-tack fouls that he gets during the year. And then it just kills him during the playoffs. Absolutely it hurts him because he's not used to it. And that's what just hurts him. But on the flip side of that, I love the playoffs because it's back when we played. More physical, more athletic. Well, there are more athletic players overall now, but there's less talent overall. There's more. Well, there's more talent, but what I'm saying is there was a lot of talent back then. But when they expand the teams, then you basically you make the talent, you spread it out farther. So instead of having back in the day where they had all the talent was on some teams, then you just spread it out. And then what happens is you bring in players, yeah, they're talented, they don't really belong in the league, but you got to have bodies. So those guys are out there. And that happens a lot. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Hawks do. The Bucks, I'm going to be really looking forward to seeing that. And then, of course, the exciting thing is this week, everybody starts. Big 12, Pac 12, SEC, ACC, Atlantic 10, Big East, Pac 12. Everybody starts this week. Everybody started today pretty much. We start, so the Big 12 is going to be interesting to see. And then, of course, my boy Drew Hinthorn of HuskerDrewPicks.com has thrown in his picks. Kansas State -1 he has today. The Huskers, which is Nebraska. Anyway, sorry, bro. Anyway, the Huskers +5, Syracuse +2, Stanford +5, the Lakers -4 playing in Houston. Hornets +7, the Heat -7. We just talked about the Heat and the Suns. So the Heat, he's taking the Heat over the Suns -7, and then of course he's taking the Thunder because you can't spell thunder just without under. So that's his thing. Even though the Thunder lost last night, it cost him yesterday. Stole some money from you, bro. And then the Knicks +9. So that's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out tonight. But I'm getting ready to go back and watch basketball. Wanted to stop and do the show. And by the way, we're going to try to do the Unpopular Hour every day starting at 2. So you'll be able to tune in every day at 2 o'clock because that seems to be a good time for us. And it's right after lunch. And we were trying to decide between 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock as far as the times. If you have a suggestion, please go ahead and DM me and let me know or leave a comment on what times you think it's better the show should start at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. And we will be consistently. And starting next week, we're going to be on every day. So starting next week, we go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every day. And we'll be doing that from now on. And then, of course, the Thunder games there's no set time for that. It's usually 15 to 20 minutes after the Thunder game, or 30 minutes really, after the Thunder game is usually what we do after the Storm. So I want to encourage everybody to please go to YouTube, look up After the Storm -OKC Thunder, subscribe and like, and then also on the Unpopular Hour with Matt Clark, and subscribe and like that for me too. So, but anyway, I thought we were going to get Maya on today, but it doesn't look like she's going to make it. So that's all I have for the Unpopular Hour today. Everybody be safe and take care of yourselves. And by the way, if you go play golf today. I wish I was out there hitting some balls. But anyway, be safe. Thank you for watching the Unpopular Hour, Women Only Wednesday. I'm your host, Matt Clark. Peace.